Israel has rejected South Africa's accusations at the United Nations top court, calling them grossly distorted. Israel also says the court lacks jurisdiction over the Israel-Hamas conflict. South Africa filed a lawsuit at the International Court of Justice asking judges to impose emergency measures to immediately halt fighting in Gaza. Israel told the ICJ that its actions in the enclave are an act of self-defense against Hamas.
The applicant has now sought to invoke this term in the context of Israel's conduct in a war it did not start and did not want. A war in which Israel is defending itself against Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and other terrorist organizations whose brutality knows no bounds.
Well, I'm joined now by DD India's Ishan Garg, who is live at the ICJ on this story for us. And Ishan, what have we been hearing today so far?
Well, at the crux of the arguments made by the Israeli side at the ICJ have been predominantly two themes. First of all, they're claiming that their attacks against the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip have been an act of self-defense. Legal experts say that this is something that the Israeli side is going to argue and is going to rely upon to claim in the ICJ that the deaths of the people in that territory are unintended consequences. Secondly, the Israeli side had also argued that the intention of genocide was not present by the Israelis. Now, South Africans had argued in the court that at the core of their argument is the fact that not only have Israeli authorities carried out attacks in Gaza, there has been an intent of genocide, and Israel today has said there hasn't been any intent because Israel does understand the difference between violence and genocide, which is why it's arguing to the court that South Africa's case is baseless to some degree. Now, legal experts have said that this is one of the finer points that will have to be determined by the judges before they can pass an order.
Okay, Ishan, and on that note, when this second day of hearings wraps up later, what comes next?
To exercise mutual restraint and would not be binding on Hamas.
Well, what comes next is going to be determined by if the judges are going to take into account South Africa's request for provisional measures, which is what South Africa has asked for. They have said that they want the violence in Gaza to stop, Israeli attacks in Gaza to stop as a provisional measure, which could kick in 2 to 3 weeks if things go Pretoria's way. But the overall case could take years to be finalized to reach a verdict. And legal experts have said that there are going to be rounds of written submissions by both sides. There's going to be arguments and counter-arguments, which would mean that the entire legal case could be protracted and could take 3 to 4 years to be decided. But what we can expect in the next few weeks is possibly provisional measures being ordered by the ICJ in Pretoria's favor, or they could simply reject that, and we will have to still wait for the final case to be decided in a few years' time.
Ishan, thank you. And indeed, if that provisional ruling did go in the way of South Africa, it would not necessarily be enforceable on any way when it comes to Israel's military operation in Gaza.